Dzień dobry, assalamu alaikum, ciao, konnichiwa, good morning, bonjour, hola. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's Ken at 10 and it's Friday. Yay! I love a Friday, as my regular viewers and listeners will know. How are you? Thank you for joining us. If you've just joined us for the first time, well, thank you so much for your company. If you're returning once again, then thank you so much for coming back. We are James Alexander. And it's Ken at 10 because I'm Ken. It's 10 with James Alexander Estate Agents based in Norbury, which is in Southwest 16, with Streatham to the north and Croydon to the south. We come here every day, every weekday, and we talk about property and what's going on. And first of all, I can't really go on without first of all saying just thoughts and prayers to the family of the people in Bexley Heath, the awful house fire which claimed the lives of 2 children and 2 women. Just yesterday, and just shocking, and it just made me think, you know what, folks, test your smoke alarms. I don't know that that was necessarily at fault, but think about it this way. How much warning do you want? How much warning do you and your family want? Make sure you've got one on the landing upstairs, one downstairs. Push the button. Take you 2 seconds. Could save your life. On to other things. So first of all, the news for today. Affordable housing starts are down 16%, obviously due to the pandemic. And this is another thing that causes more people to enter into the private sector. The affordable housing starts in England were down by 16% last year as the pandemic restrictions severely hit council and housing association developments. The new government figures are revealed. There were 57,000 affordable home starts in the 12 months to 31st March 2021. That's a decrease of 16%. Of these, 6,200 were for social rent, which usually represents homes rented at 50% to 60% of the upmarket cost. So you can imagine that's a lot of people that would have got homes that haven't. That's a massive blow. Another one from the BBC News about plans proposed to tackle Cornwall's housing crisis. A funny thing about Cornwall, you know, obviously these areas, particularly holiday areas, have been massively popular during the pandemic. Places to go to for holiday, but also places to go to and live and Zoom commute. Many people have done that. I was speaking to somebody that went there, and they were saying that it is so busy there that they went there to get away from it all and found that actually it was more crowded than London. So, you know, it's not necessarily the panacea that you might think it will be. But anyway, there are plans proposed to tackle their housing crisis, and a plan costing more than £300 million to tackle the crisis has been proposed. The plan includes more affordable homes, reducing the reliance on short-term rented accommodation, and a key worker scheme. This is the start of a multifaceted approach to address the housing crisis. The proposal was debated on Tuesday, will be decided by the council's cabinet. More than 100 people took to the streets in Truro in August to protest against rent increases and the number of homes being converted into holiday lets. Sometimes you can just be too popular, huh? The Crest Nicholson have just forecast massive profits, no big surprise there. Jersey house prices are up again, another holiday destination through the roof. Some of you asked me about an article I was reading from the Negotiator magazine and the top and bottom house price hot and cold markets and some regional percentages. So I'll come on to that in a short while. HS2 to Leeds has been scrapped. You've probably heard that one. That's big, very big news. A lot of people will be celebrating that. A lot of people will be very sad about it. Boris Johnson has faced criticism in the face of it being the levelling up agenda. It's not quite so level after all. And interesting to see that. Inflation and tax hikes will hit the economy, city analysts have warned. Soaring inflation and an end to the pandemic-related government support poses a big threat to the economy, as experts at Deutsche Bank say. The economy is set to grow by 3.6% this year, and that's far lower than the Bank of England's forecast of 5%. Well, with high inflation as well, you know, the thing about high inflation can result in higher house prices, because as price of other things go up, so salaries go up. Mortgages are based on a multiple of those salaries, and so it can push house prices even further. On top of that, lenders are being a bit more lenient with first-time buyers now, which I think is great news, because they're always the key to unlocking the lower end of the market, which allows the middle end of the market to move. House prices by region. I touched on this briefly yesterday, but some of you asked for a bit more detail. The average annual increase in prices since 2005 in London has been 4.8%. And the annual increase since 2007, that's since 2005, since 2007 even, it's still been 3.7%. And that eclipses every other region. You know, people talk about the north, they talk about other areas, but the truth is, and the facts are, London is still ahead of the pack when it comes to those price changes. Now, hot markets for buyer demand. This is assessed by the number of percentage of properties under offer that are advertised on the big portals. And Brighton comes out top at 90% of the properties available are actually under offer. That is huge. And there are others, Alderborough, Walsall, Bristol, Yeovil, and Poole in Dorset, and Hengoed. I think that's probably in Wales. And then the cold markets by buyer demand are London, not surprisingly, dominated by London totally, and Liverpool, the major cities. But the surprising thing about that is, obviously, the effects of COVID have been less impactful here in London than most other regions of the country, which has been the big surprise. And I think that's one of the reasons why we're starting to see these markets open up and confidence return to both rental and the sales markets here in London. Apart from that, we are looking at a fairly busy day as always today here, trying to get people out for the weekend. The weather here in SW16 is kind of overcast and grey, but not too cold. It's quite mild, actually, for an autumnal day. And we're just 38 days to Christmas now, hence the snowman behind me. Can you believe that? 38 days and it'll be Christmas. It's extraordinary how it creeps up on you, isn't it? Just can't believe it. No podcast this week, I'm afraid. Just didn't have time to do it with a few other things going on. But next week, we do have a special one next week for you. And that is including a very special guest who is actually a pastor. And he preaches to his congregation about property investment. So I'm really amused to chat to him. He's a great guy. I met him this week because he's made an investment through us. And talking about his investment strategy. He does small HMOs. It'd be really interesting to see his view on the medium-term prospects for property in the HMO market, particularly here in southwest London and the borough of Croydon. So that'd be interesting to see. Apart from that, interesting valuation later. And then we'll be pushing on to make sure we get the most viewings out there for people. If you're thinking of selling, not sure how to do it, we have lots of options for you, including auctions. You know, lots of you have spoken to me about auctions. What does it mean? How does it work? Is it worth doing? And the answer is it can be very worth your while if you want a quick, seamless sale. When the hammer goes down, you've exchanged contracts. If you've had enough, you've been going through a sale and it's just too complicated, you're frustrated by endless inquiries and endless buyers saying maybe, might be, when you just want the deal done. We can make that happen for you. Give us a call about that or drop us an email, direct messages, whatever your preferred method of communication is. Apart from that, hope you have a fantastic weekend. Thanks for watching. We'll be back next week on Monday, same time, same place. Until then, stay safe. Ciao.